So I'm a night owl through and through. I'm that guy who has a really tough time waking up in the morning. I mean, it's a joke almost between my friends that I'm always showing up late, especially to brunches and stuff, because I'm always just rolling out of bed, barely getting time to myself, and then rushing to my first meeting at work or whatever it is. I've always romanticized, though, that idea of waking up early, having time for myself, being that guy who does work out in the mornings and meditates or who does whatever, and then sits down for work already fired up and charged up. But that wasn't the reality for me. And during COVID, it got even worse. I mean, I was staying up till like 4 or 5 a.m. every night without fail. And I thought that's how I do my most productive work. I'm a night owl. Naturally, it's really tough for me to wake up, so I do better at night. And this would just cause problems throughout the day. And I just thought I had to deal with them. I realized I had a problem when one day I had to set an alarm literally for 6 p.m. because I had a dinner with a friend at 6 p.m. I set an alarm at 6 p.m. to wake up. So I made sure I didn't miss that dinner with my friend. And that's when I knew, all right, shit, like this is a bit much. I need to figure out how to adjust my schedule and change how I operate my day to day so that I can do what I've always wanted to do, wake up early. So me being the person I am, I would do the most drastic thing you could. Most people would say I'm gonna shift back my alarm 1 hour every single day, wake up normal time like 9 or 8 a.m. I was like, bro, if I'm gonna do this shit, I'm gonna wake up at 5 a.m. I'm gonna be part of the 5 a.m. club. Because I've always seen, every time you look through history, right? Every single successful person always says their secret is waking up early and how it just truly changes their day and their outlook, having a morning routine. All the influencers, the gurus, and everyone online, they constantly say waking up early, beating the day, the early bird catches the early worm. There's so many euphemisms for people who are successful because they start waking up earlier. And those days when I did actually get up earlier, I saw it. I was way more productive. I got a lot more done. I got my workouts in and I was really happy with the way I felt about myself. So I realized if I'm gonna do this challenge, I need a framework or what to do to go about actually being successful at waking up at 5 a.m. from someone who's an absolute night owl. So I read this book called 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. And it's a pretty bad book. It's a pretty bad book because I've never read worse fiction, let's say that. But there are many golden nuggets in that book about personal development and how to wake up early in the morning. And it does motivate you to do because it did get me to do this challenge, which I documented all on my Instagram if you want to watch my misery. I woke up at 5 a.m. for 66 days straight. Because in the book, Robin Sharma says it takes 66 days to create a habit to the point of automaticity, meaning it's harder to not do the habit than it is to do it. And I was like, all it takes is to sacrifice myself for 66 days. If I create this habit, this one habit that all these mega successful people say that change your life, if I can get myself to that point, and it all takes 66 days, I'm ready to sacrifice and make it happen. So I did do it, the surprise. And since then, I have become someone who is an early riser, who does really appreciate waking up early days in the morning. I work out still in the mornings. I do make sure I have my time for myself in the mornings, which has been an absolute game changer for me moving on. But here are 5 things I learned from my challenge of waking up at 5 a.m. every single day for 66 days. And there's some tips on how you can do it for yourself. But most importantly, these are things that I wish I knew beforehand to make my time easier to become an early riser. So it's time to shift your gears. If you've been needing a wake-up call or an idea or framework on how to start waking up earlier, this is exactly the video I made for you. This is the video I wish I had before I started my 66-day journey. So let's get right into it with tip number 1. It's not hard to wake up early. The hardest thing about waking up early is going to bed at the right time. It's really tough to wake up early when you're not getting much sleep. And waking up at 5 a.m. doesn't mean you need to get less sleep. Instead, it means you should get the same amount of sleep, but you just move your clock backwards. But the problem with waking up early is that you have to sleep earlier. And given at least how my friends are living in New York or whatever that is for you, most people don't like to sleep early. They like to stay up, watch Netflix, hang out with friends, go for dinners, whatever it is, all the way till 11 o'clock and then pass out. And by then, sure, you can wake up at 5, but after a few days, it's not going to be possible. Remember, we're trying to create this a habit to make it stick. So I always felt that the challenge was waking up. But if I just, instead of setting an alarm for the morning, do what I call a reverse alarm clock, meaning set an alarm for when you're supposed to go to bed. Just like your mom said when you're a kid, right? When's your bedtime? Create a strict bedtime for yourself of when you're going to go to bed. Don't just have a loose bedtime, a loose range, or the range changes depending on when you need to wake up that next morning. For me, if I was waking up at 5 a.m., I needed to be in bed by 9 latest 9:30. I needed to be in single digits is how I convinced myself. I needed to be in bed by 9:30, read a book for 30 minutes or whatever. But if I need to get at least minimum 7 hours in bed. But my goal was always to get into bed by 9 o'clock. Now, setting a reverse alarm clock is really easy. I just used to go on my Apple iPhone, find 8 hours before, and then flip it that way. And every time I made sure I slept early, waking up earlier was not a problem at all. So if you're about to go on this journey, don't think about it as a challenge of waking up early. The challenge is actually going to bed at the right time. But by shifting this time back, a lot of people say, oh, what if I am productive at night? I'm doing all this work at night and I don't do it in the morning. Here's the thing, when you're up at night, nothing good really happens. You're probably partying, going out, drinking with friends, or if anything, you're just scrolling on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or just wasting time watching TV. But no one wakes up at 5 a.m. to watch Netflix. And that's what I quickly realized. I used to convince myself, tricking myself, saying that I'm sleeping in at night because I'm sleeping in the next morning because that night I was so productive doing a lot of work. But mostly what I was doing was just messing around on stuff, wasting time that I didn't need to earlier in the day itself. But no one wakes up at 5 a.m. to waste time. So the most important thing to remember is if you want to wake up early is to go to bed at the right time. That's the only way to get this done. Don't deprive yourself of sleep. Sleep's the number one most important thing you need in your life to be successful, productive, healthy, happy, wealthy, all those things. But make sure to set a reverse alarm clock. That will absolutely be a game changer for moving forward in this journey. Tip 2 is to have a why of why you're waking up in the morning. Because inevitably, as soon as you get up and the alarm hits, your body's first reaction will be, do I need to do this? Why are you waking up, Sid? These are always the thoughts I had in my head. Sid, do you really need to wake up? It's so comfy under the covers, just sleep in. No one's forcing you to get up at 5 a.m. Your negative self-talk kicks in immediately as soon as you set the alarm for 5 a.m. and wake up that next morning. Because you might be charged and motivated for day 1, day 2, but by day 3, you're already talking yourself out of it. But I had a confident, strong, resounding why of why I wanted to wake up. Every single morning when I woke up, and inevitably my self-talk kicked in like, said, why don't you just sleep in? There's no point of this. I would say, I'm doing this because I don't want to be mediocre anymore. That was my why, because I felt all these successful, hyper successful people I was looking up to, they were all successful because this is one of the few habits they installed in their life. That is a similarity between all the hyper successful people of waking up early. And I said, if I want to stop being mediocre, this is what I need to do. This is what it takes. So every single morning when my negative self-talk kicked in, I said, I don't want to be mediocre anymore. I'm going to stop being mediocre. And that resounding why is what got my ass out in the morning to actually go up and turn my alarm off. Now, you need to find that why for yourself. Because if you don't know why you're waking up in the morning, then you're never gonna do it. You'll do it 1 day, 2 days for fun, maybe because you watch this video. But at some point, your self-talk's gonna kick in and convince you to stay under the covers and just, default to normal habits. But what you need to do is come up with that why of why you're trying to transform your life, why you're trying to change, why you're trying to wake up early. And that why is something you have cemented in words, in language, written on paper so that you can tell yourself every single morning when you don't want to wake up. Tip 3 is to have a morning routine. Because let's say you follow the first 2, right? You sleep at the right time, you have your why, you get out of bed. If you have no reason to get out of bed and you're just standing there and you don't know what to do, then you're gonna be like, why the hell did I even wake up in the first place? I'm gonna go back into bed. By having a morning routine gives you structure and a purpose to what you're gonna do as soon as you wake up. And if you love it and enjoy it, which is what I really recommend you doing, finding things that you really enjoy, then you're gonna look forward to it every morning. Something excites you. You're gonna be really excited to wake up that next morning. The morning routine I follow was called the 20-20-20 formula, and it's from the book I said earlier, 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. It's a really solid framework. I'll get into that in a second. But to understand why morning routines are so powerful and so important is a quote I love. It's by the Spartans, the ancient Spartans. They used to say, those who sweat more in training bleed less in battle. What that means is the more you train, the more you actually work and sweat, the less bad shit will happen to you in real life. So this training for you, this personal development training, is your morning routine, because it's the one time you really control. This is when you work on your mindset, your health, your fitness, and every single component of your well-being. This is when you work on it so that when you do go into the day and inevitably shit does happen to you, you're better prepared to deal with it. And that's why I found morning routine so powerful, because when I did, work on my mindset, when I meditated, when I worked out, when I journaled and did all that, and I'm getting to my desk at 9 a.m, and everyone else is like, oh shit, Sid, I need my morning coffee, don't set any meetings. And I'm like, bro, I feel fired up. I'm ready to go. I've been up for a while and I did everything I needed to feel perfect right now and the most productive version of myself. So the 20-20-20 formula is spaced out as in the first 1 hour of your morning. So each bucket stands for 20 minutes of what you're gonna do for that first hour as soon as you wake up. First bucket is you want to do something related to movement. Second is you want to reflect. And third is something related to growing. For example, movement can mean yoga, can mean working out, it can mean jump roping, it can mean going on a run, whatever that is for you, get up and move for the first 20 minutes of your day. For me, that was doing a quick cardio session or lifting weights, because that's usually what I like to do. Sometimes I would take a SoulCycle class that was nearby, or sometimes I would, go out for a run and do it in nature versus treadmill. But for the first 20 minutes, move, get a sweat going. Second part of 20 minutes is to reflect. Reflecting can be reading scripture. It can be reading a book that has something to do with spirituality. It can be meditating. It can be journaling. It can be anything you need to do to reflect on yourself. I personally love journaling because journaling is having a conversation with yourself almost. It's working through a lot of the internal subconscious thoughts you didn't even know you had. So every morning I would meditate for 5 to 10 minutes and then I would journal for 5 to 10 minutes after my first 20 minutes of working out. And then the last 20 minutes bucket, which is called grow, is you want to do something where you're learning something new. This can be listening to a podcast that you've been pushing off, watching a TED Talk, reading a book, reading an audiobook. You want to do something which you're growing, and this shouldn't be just directly related to your day-to-day job. This can be anything you want it to be. It can be even outside of that. Maybe you want to learn finances or stocks, or maybe you want to learn editing a YouTube video. So by having this 1 hour laid out for me in the morning, it made everything so much easier because I knew with clarity what I'm supposed to do every single day. And this training, this Spartan training I did every single morning primed me because it worked on my mind by reflecting, it worked on my physical by moving, and it worked on my just overall well-being and pursuit of happiness by growing and becoming a better version of myself. So I really encourage you to find a morning routine that works for you. This is the framework that really helped me. But having a morning routine really just excites you and gives you a lot of structure to your day, and then makes waking up early really, really worth it. Tip 4 is to get an old school alarm clock and keep it outside the bedroom. It's almost 2 parts, but one, get an old school alarm clock, the one that's super loud, that is not digital, that actually rings insanely loud with its little bells on the top, and then keep it outside the bedroom, in the kitchen or somewhere else, but make sure it's not in your room. What this does is 2 parts. One, I would find myself often getting my phone and then going to my room, right? This is what normal people do. They use their phone as an alarm clock. But I would just waste 15, 20 minutes on my phone scrolling through Instagram, checking emails, text, whatever it is, without even realizing that though I did the work to get into bed at the right time at 9 o'clock, I was just wasting stupid time doing stupid shit and then setting up myself for failure the next morning by just going on my phone and doing whatever it takes to be addicted to this device, and then having it control means of me controlling my own time. So by keeping your phone out of the bedroom, it makes it almost like a digital detox zone. You go in, you feel more relaxed, you're not looking at messages or alerts or meetings, and you can just read a book or just look away from screens for a while. This really helps you relax and calm down. But the second part about it, which is keeping outside the room, helps is by making sure you get off your ass and really go turn off the alarm clock. Because when we're in bed and our phone's just on our bedside, we just hit it or hit snooze or whatever and just roll over and sleep. But by having your alarm and a physical alarm clock outside your bedroom, somewhere that you have to physically get up to go and walk and turn it off, it gets you off your ass because you don't have a choice. You have to get up to turn it off. And this creates this feeling that as soon as you get up and actually go do it, you're like, oh, well, okay, fine, I'm up now. Might as well start my morning routine. So get an old school alarm clock, and I'll leave in the description box a link for the alarm clock that I used to use. That got it was loud as hell, but it really, really worked. And it looks kind of sleek. It's a modern alarm clock that, it's a modern spin on the old school alarm clock. But by keeping also inside the bedroom, I used to keep mine in my kitchen. It's just, it really does give you that extra level of motivation that you need in order to get up and get your day started. Tip 5 and the final tip is to really just enjoy life. Oftentimes, people who become obsessed with waking up early or obsessed with their personal development routines, I notice they start to diminish themselves in their social areas or other areas of their life. And that's not the way life's supposed to be lived. When I was doing the whole 66-day challenge, waking up at 5 a.m., I reduced my social bubble quite a lot. I stopped hanging out with a lot of friends. I stopped responding to text. Even my family, when they wanted to have dinner at 8, I would say, screw them. I have to get dinner at 6 so that I can get to bed at time and they can do whatever the hell they want. I started isolating myself to a point where, sure, I was really productive and I was waking up at 5 a.m. and crushing my morning goals, and I wrote a book in that time. I did so many crazy things during that time, but it came at the cost of sacrificing a part of my life, which as humans, we really need to social, connect, love, family. So my recommendation to you is don't do what I did. What I eventually started doing after the 66-day challenge is to incorporate into my lifestyle in a way that's sustainable. I will stay out some nights now, not every day of the week, but certain nights of the week, I will stay out and have dinner with friends or go out with family, or if I'm going out on the weekend. There are many times when I go on vacation, I don't tell myself I have to wake up at any time. I just wake up whenever the hell I want for the whole week I'm out of town. The only way to make this a part of your lifestyle is to make it sustainable and do what works for you. Being a night owl is part of my DNA at this point. It is still really tough for me to wake up and get out of bed in the mornings. Though most mornings I'm waking up early, I'm waking closer to 6 or 7 a.m. at the latest 7, but most around 6:30. It's become a part of my routine to the point where it's still tough to wake up early, but I really just love the benefits of waking up early. I love doing my morning routine. I love the way it makes me feel when I sit down at my desk, showered, ready to go at 7 or 8:30, 7:30 or 8:30. And I've just really come to love that so much that it outweighs the temporary feeling of getting out of bed every morning. But I don't do it once again every single day. So if you want to make this part of your lifestyle, don't look at all the hardcore people who say you have to wake up every single day on the weekend, sacrifice, no sleep, every single day at 4 a.m. That's not real. That's not how life should be. And if it is, I don't know how happy they are in life if they're really doing that. But for you, and what I want for you is to be healthy, happy, wealthy in all areas of your life. And the way to do that is to still wake up early, but make it sustainable in a way that's most comfortable and happiest to you. So that could be every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Those are the days you work out and lift weights. So those are the days you wake up at 6 o'clock. The other days you wake up at 7 o'clock. That's kind of a system of what I do. And on the weekends, you just chill and you sleep in, do whatever the hell you want. That's worked for me. I recommend something similar for you. If you naturally wake up earlier, all power to you. Kudos. I wish I could be like you. But I'm happy with what's worked for me so far because it has given me that productivity that I need and has not come at the sacrifice of my social life. So learn just to really enjoy. And that's my 5th tip. Don't take it so seriously. It's okay if you miss a few days. It's okay to sleep in a few days. And it's okay if you don't wake up a few days. Don't take a hammer to yourself. Just be understanding that it's part of human nature to be this way, the way you are. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you all so much. If you made it this far in the video, you guys are real ones. I'm, as you know, growing this channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers as fast as I can because I have so much value to give. I have so much knowledge in this little brain of mine and I want to give it to all of you. If you enjoy experience telling, more of the storytelling stuff where I give tips, but it's more about personal experiences, let me know in the comments. I'm more than happy to do more of these videos. Whatever gives you guys the most value, that's really what I'm here for. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. All my socials are at Sid Chawla. That's where I share a lot more content on a daily basis that are not just here. They're short form content, 1-minute clips, 30-second videos. I give a lot more value on those platforms for sure. But subscribe, please. That gives me a great support. If you hit the like button as well, that lets me know that you appreciate what I'm doing, the hard work I'm doing filming these videos for you. Turn notification bells on and yeah, just let me know in the comments. What is one tip you're gonna do today to make it actionable instead of just watching this video and doing nothing about it? Hold yourself accountable, put it on writing in the comments, and then let the world know so that you stick by it and that you feel like you've accomplished something today. And I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.